Hi Panthers! This week we're recognizing Deaf Awareness Week, and I'm excited to present to you our visitor who just happens to be my son. His name is Brett Grayson, and he works at the South Carolina School for the Deaf and Blind now, but before he went through Union County Schools, and then he went to Gardner-Webb University and got his mathematics bachelor's degree, and then he went to McDaniel College in Maryland and got his graduate degree in deaf education. So recently in your job you go around and talk, make presentations to different people, and recently you were presenting about deaf culture. I thought maybe the students here at Piedmont would want to know a little bit about the differences and the similarities between deaf culture and hearing culture. What can you share?
Really, hearing culture has a lot of similarities with deaf culture. You know, you have their own approach to things, to life in general, but obviously deaf culture uses ASL and hearing culture uses spoken English. Now, the deaf community tends to be more blunt and more open and willing to share information, personal information. They're just very open, whereas hearing people tend to be a little more closed off and conservative with what they share about their personal life and personal information. Deaf also typically are very dependent on their eyes, whereas hearing people depend on their ears for things. But to summarize, both have a lot in common. Both have dialects, both have ears, heads, eyes, arms, legs. You know, hearing people and deaf people have a lot of the same similarities. The only difference is that deaf people can't hear. That's all.
Which brings up a point that I wanted to discuss with you. In the past, you know, there have been various terms to describe the deaf. I know that you have a pet peeve of yours whenever people say hearing impaired. Can you explain why that bothers you?
The word hearing impaired, impairment means that something is broken or doesn't function properly. And like I said before, deaf people are normal. We have arms and legs and brains and a body just like everyone else. There's nothing wrong with us. The only difference is that we can't hear. Therefore, when you use the word impaired, it just, you know, it makes me feel, you know, I'm not impaired. I'm normal. I just can't hear. That's all. My ears might not work, but my brain's fine. And I prefer the label deaf or hard of hearing, and that's it.
Okay. So also we have, you know, a majority of hearing students here at Piedmont.
Right.
And we have a few deaf. So next year we'll be getting more, and we're going to hopefully see the program start developing and growing more. So can you help the students out there know how to better communicate and get to know our deaf students, and our deaf students get to know the hearing students better? What tips can you give them?
It's very simple. Don't be afraid. You and I are just the same. We both have our flaws, and some people are more friendly and outgoing, and others are more shy. Some are very easy to talk to, and others, you know, you maybe want to start a conversation, but don't feel afraid. Just go up to them and just start talking to them, because most of the time, honestly, with my experience growing up in a mainstream school, with a public school, I like socializing with people. I didn't like feeling left out. It wasn't because I didn't like people that I didn't hang out with them. It was because we had a language difference, and I felt a little, you know, separated from them. But once you get over that communication barrier, and that bump, and you connect and develop a relationship with someone, that fear goes away. So developing that relationship with someone is important. And you can pick up sign language. Most of the time, deaf are really happy and willing to teach people sign language. And hearing people who are interested in learning can take advantage of that. And if not, you guys can write notes back and forth and gesture. There's different ways to approach communication. There's other ways around, you know, you don't want to talk to them because they obviously can't hear you, but you can learn how to sign and try some other ways to communicate. Don't be afraid, because we're people too, just the same as the rest of you.
Well, that was some good tips, you know, and also eye contact is very important.
Yes, eye contact is important.
Um, So there you have it, Panthers. We have a sign language club. Get involved. And if you don't have time for sign language club, the interpreters are willing to help. The students that are deaf themselves will help. And maybe some of the sign language club members who are involved can help you too. So go out there and intermingle, learn more about deaf culture. That's all. See you later.